I'm Dennis Barr.
I'm glad you still have your name tags. Good, I wouldn't either. Well, thanks again for hiring us. Lisa, do you have the contract? Okay, we probably should start with that. Just, have you guys had a chance to talk about phase 5? Are you interested in phase 5? It's in the fall, goal setting with the new superintendent. Okay. Understand if you take phase 5, it includes the 2-year guarantee. If you don't, then the guarantee isn't on the table.
Is that something you have to decide tonight?
We're going to sign the contract tonight, so I think probably should have a discussion about it. We can't probably proceed without being hired.
Right.
What is the guarantee for?
If the new superintendent, for some reason, leaves after the first year, we'll come back and do the search without the fee except for our expenses.
The expenses are usually advertising, mileage. They're actually minimal for that part of it.
What's the extra cost for phase 5?
$750.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to ask for a motion to, if we want to accept phase 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that your motion, Jim?
Yep.
I'll second that.
Can you repeat the motion, please?
It was yes, that we're going to include phase 5.
At a cost of $750.
It's built in there, in the $6,000.
The only thing I would say is I'm hoping you do such a great job this first time, we won't need them again, and they won't leave.
That's our hope too.
Well, I think the coming and helping with the goal setting, et cetera, is kind of a big plus. And plus, we're not going to bail on that new superintendent at that time. We're going to be there for support also. I certainly would hope that that new person would rely on, I'm talking about Mike Billings, if there's some questions or things like that. Certainly, I want to help in any way I can.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to approve the use of phase 5. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay. We will use phase 5.
Okay, you want to sign, and I'll sign on behalf, and then you guys can keep a contract, and we'll send one into Omaha. So we can go.
Check phase 5.
Yes, I will do.
Check.
One month till Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case. You can give that, keep on. And up when? Lisa, you can keep that one now.
Okay.
I'll send this one in. We have a busy night ahead of us. I want to real briefly go through what our agenda looks like. Okay, we're gonna ask you, so you can start thinking about this now. What your expectations for this search process are? Okay, so start thinking about that, and then we're gonna tell you what our expectations are also. We're gonna start out by setting the calendar. Jim said that you're used to Thursdays, so if we can probably look at a calendar along the way, we'll talk about that. Then we're gonna talk about one of the most important parts, and that's the selection criteria. We're gonna set those tonight, and we're gonna define those. And then I'm gonna take them home, and I'm gonna write them up, and I'm gonna send it to Lisa tomorrow. She's gonna make sure that all of you get a chance to see them written up. We're gonna agree to them, and then I'm gonna send them in the office so we can get this ball moving. After that, we've already talked about who the point of contact is going to be, and I think it's been Lisa. And that's who we've been working with. Lisa's been working on your information for the home office to get all that set up. Then we're gonna talk about advertising. Then we're gonna talk about the compensation. What kind of package are you gonna be willing to offer? We're not gonna finalize tonight. We're gonna talk about it. And then we're gonna talk about what type of stakeholder groups you want at the end of this. And then we'll talk about what goes on with that and what Dennis and I will do with stakeholder groups after we've identified those. So we're gonna start with that first topic and that first item, and that's the expectations that you guys have for the search, for us. Scott, do you wanna start? I'm sorry, Jane, you wanna start?
Well, I hope you give us a lot of good direction and meet with us personally and find someone great for our community.
Thank you. Scott?
The expectations of you for us, is that what you want?
Yes.
Well, there should be only one, and that is to find the superintendent that fits this community.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
That fits the community. It is also here for the kids. And making sure that the financial budget is on top also.
Great.
Be nice to have someone inspirational, motivational.
Talk about that.
Okay.
Thank you. No, perfect. Lynn?
We need to find somebody that is student oriented and also be able to keep the finances up at like a business and keep things on track.
So you're expecting us to help you find that person?
Yes.
Lisa, you're part of this. Okay, all right. Sharon?
I would like to see a superintendent come in here with the kids in mind, getting them more close-knit and fired up about coming to school every day.
Get rid of the cell phones. That's what they got in.
Jim, what do you expect from us?
I guess I'm expecting a strong leader, obviously, but my real focus, I guess, is, my only focus has always been at this school is to get kids educated. And the stronger we can do that, the better off we're gonna do our job for society. So, an academic leader for me is an absolute must. I can't live without it.
So
Finances would really be nice if we could get one of those too. Academics. Got it.
So your expectation for McPherson and Jacobson, the two of us, is we're gonna be looking for somebody that meets those expectations. Okay. We'll turn that around. I think from my perspective, and Dennis and I have talked a little bit, is we're gonna need help. I need help recruiting a strong leader for you. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to see what the commitment is for the team that I'm looking at right now. Because if you look at history at Belmont Clemmy right now, we're looking at some changes, frequent changes in leadership. And I think I mentioned when we did the pitch, everything that you can read can tell you that consistent leadership in public school leads to success for the kids and for the district, financially, and also academically. So I guess that's my hope, is I get to know you guys better, so I can help you guys come together, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing or it's a dynamic thing. I don't know. I don't know you well enough yet, but I'm looking forward to getting to know you and working for you, and also being part of your partner, being a partner. So that's for Mike Jones.
My hope, I'm gonna say, put it in the form of a hope. My hope is 5 years from now, whoever you hire, you're tickled pink with them. Things are running smoothly, and everybody's happy. I'm talking about community, staff, kids, and more. And you can expect, from my point of view, I've got 14 years in the superintendency in several different districts, and no, I was mainly in one, but I did a lot of interim work as well. And I've been with this firm for 14 years, so I can see the highs and the lows and the questions. I'm gonna bring up something now that, I don't know how this is gonna start this whole series off, but I received several calls from community members here saying, how are you guys gonna expect to be successful there? Meaning us. And here's what they mentioned: high turnover of superintendencies. You go back a decade or 15 years, most of them haven't left voluntarily. Number two, does the board pull together for the success of the district the future superintendent for the good of students? Does the board pull together for those three entities? Do teachers, board, and community follow the chain of command? In other words, if there's a problem, do they go to the person responsible for the problem and then up the chain of command, or do they go right to the superintendent or to a community member that they expect to do something about it? As we recruit, how can we assure this future superintendent's success here? You know, when I call somebody and say, I want you to consider Belmont Clemmy, I'm putting my name, my reputation, and my history behind that question. And I want to know how to answer that question. Is your financial condition and projections solid? Enrollment projections? Do you expect to keep about the same number of students? Didn't you say that the pre-K or the early childhood, there's no kids anywhere right now? So that's going to come up through your system. What are the issues as you see them for the future superintendent? We all expect when we go into a superintendency to have some problems. I mean, it's going to be some financial in present day, you better know finance. Absolutely know finance. Do the unions and the administration get along, with the board included? That's important, because you don't particularly want to go someplace, buy a house, hope to spend 3 or 4 years, and have a whole bunch of problems that you didn't anticipate. So all of that's important in consideration when you take a position. Is there expectation that you get rid of somebody? If I took this job, would I expected to fire somebody? Because sometimes I've gone into positions like that and they said, we want that person gone. We want the first superintendent to get rid of that person. Well, that's the wrong way to do it. History of negotiations and staff reduction. If that lower number goes through the system, is it a harmonious thing set by contract that's easily understood on how you reduce staff? And if it's not, you should be working on that. And then my last question is, we'll get to this sometime tonight. Why should as I talk to people, what should I say to them to convince them to come here? What do you really want to hang your hat on? And then I put some other things down here, just who will look at this position. You're most likely going to look at an administrator that wants, a building administrator that wants to get into the superintendency. probably, which means probably they're not gonna be that strong in finance. It takes about, to me, it took 3 years to fully understand finance. So I knew every crook and cranny that you could do things in. They like the location. You're close to Clear Lake, you're close to Mason City. You've got a nice school, you've got a nice physical setup. All those things are in your favor. They might have family ties in the area. I moved back to Webster City because my parents lived in Iowa Falls and I wanted to see them through their death. I mean, I wanted to be close enough to help them. And there's gonna be people who got fired in their present position, they're gonna need a job. Those people are out there. And frankly, if I bring that to you, I will tell you, they have been fired in that position. And sometimes you get fired for good reasons. Hate to say that, but sometimes you get fired for good reasons. And then a retired person from another state that wants to work on double dipping. That happens. Seems more Iowans go someplace else than people come to Iowa. But those are concerns that people brought up to me, that I thought I was obligated to tell you about. And that's the way I am. So I don't know what you expect to do with it. You know, we could easily just take applications and evaluate applications. But I think when we made a presentation to you, we said we recruit. And that's just where we are. Questions?
We're gonna be able to recruit folks. I don't think there's any question that we're gonna find some really good candidates for you. But I'll be honest, that both of us are gonna be honest with those candidates. I think that's what I was talking about before. I wanna get to know you guys. I really do. I think this is a working relationship, and I wanna know what's going on. So I think it's good to put cards on the table. I know what your guys are expecting from us. And all I'll tell you is, professionally, ethically, Dennis and I will work passionately to find the right person for this, to help you find the right person. We may get it down to the last 5, and then it's up to you. but we're gonna. I think one of the things you're gonna find from, I think you already noticed, from Dennis, is you see a passion for what we're doing. We have a passion for kids. This whole thing's about kids, guys.
Any questions or?
Do you want us to reply to any of this?
I want you to know about it. It's really up to you to do something about it. If it's true. You know, that's the thing. They told me I have no way of verifying it. Although some of it came up in our previous, couple years ago, in our meetings with people. If you go back and look at those community notes, there's some things in there.
Right now, you have a board that's divided. And that's dangerous, especially when you're looking for a new superintendent.
Then I would ask you to do the dirty work of getting united.
Well, then we've gotta start talking to one another. We gotta have communication with one another. We can't have any secrets. We can't do under the table meetings. We can't do under the table, trying to buy Kirk out. How many people knew that Kirk, they were gonna get, that Lynn was gonna approach Kirk? How many people did you know that, Sharon? Did you know that, Teresa? So how many people knew on this board? Did you know it, Jackie?
I heard about it.
So you did, and obviously Lynn knew about it, cause he's the one that did it.
I went in and talked to Kirk and says, I need your resignation because that's, we already talking about getting search firms. And I asked him, well, he asked me, he says, do you want it now at the end of your contract? And I says, well, I thought we were doing it at the end of the contract. But since he mentioned that, I thought, well, I don't know what he wants. And so I questioned that.
Do you think that bred trust from us when I never knew nothing about it? I don't know if Jane knew anything about it, but
This
when
one
I asked Marcia Lewis to leave the school system, the first thing I did was consult a lawyer, our school lawyer. every board member
Privately.
twice. And I believe Jane spoke to us about trust last week, last month. And then we find out that not only did you approach him once, but you approached him twice without consulting every board member. That doesn't breed trust. And I can't work with somebody that goes behind my back.
What did
and
you
does
approach
those
him
things.
about? What did you say you approached him about, Jim?
A buyout.
A buyout.
Buyout, what do you mean?
Buy out his contract.
And you did that, didn't you?
I asked, but we didn't do it, because I
You
didn't feel it was
didn't talk to
necessary.
the all.
You didn't talk to the whole board. You approached him twice,
How can
and
this
you
board
approached, somebody to take that position.
How can we hire somebody to work in this climate, culture and climate, I wrote it down right there. How can we do that when our board president goes behind our back?
Did you know how much it was gonna cost to buy him out?
I assume you're gonna pay out his contract.
Did you know how much it was gonna cost?
No, sir. I talked to our lawyer, Mr. Berkeley.
Don't matter. We're all decision makers here. You did the right thing by talking to him, but you didn't do the right thing by not talking to us. You should have talked to us.
Now, this is a small town, Jim, and I just heard that you guys had a meeting last night. What was that about?
We didn't have a meeting last night.
Never
Who,
had no
who had a
meetings.
meeting last night? Who had a meeting?
We never had no meetings. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was home all night.
Yesterday afternoon.
We're gonna hire somebody to work in this school system. This has to be rectified. And we all have to be on the same page. Let's not get off focus. We have to be on the same page. And the same page is bringing somebody into this school system to do the business that it takes to be done here. And if you're gonna go behind my back, I like to make decisions that are good for our kids. But I can't do that when my leadership, the man that's at the front there, lies, goes behind my back.
You know, we had a, we,
Lied to you, Jim, I didn't.
No, you didn't even talk to me.
you haven't talked to Kirk all year.
I don't like getting yelled at. That's-
I'm not yelling at you, I'm telling you the truth.
I
How in the
understand.
world can we trust you when I don't?
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
The meetings along with the superintendent also. So don't say it's just Glenn.
Everybody involved, how do you trust them?
Cause I know that happened. I caught you and Scott with him in a meeting,
when?
less than a year ago.
Lynn doesn't talk to us.
A year ago.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So that happened also.
I didn't hear this.
She said that she caught you and I and Kirk in a meeting a year ago.
I don't consider two people in Kirk
Yeah.
a meeting.
So that talking goes on between you two
That's
also.
not considered a meeting, Jane. I'm in this school almost 3 times a week to know what's going on, to be informed. And the only way I can get those questions answered is come to the administrator of this school. Now, if you wanna call it a meeting, I guess that's okay. I call it responsibility mine as a board member to do my job.
Yeah, you can.
You can go ask also.
Absolutely you can. I'm not disagreeing with that, but what I'm saying is that there's no communication with the president, with the other board members. When it comes to something as serious as buying out a superintendent, you're gonna spend pretty near $90,000, and how are you gonna pay for that?
Was that even brought up?
Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes, it was.
Did we vote on it or bring it up in a meeting?
No, it was not. Lynn approached Kirk privately, first part of December. Did you know about that?
It's a good thing, it's a private conversation with Kurt, but
Pretty serious conversation to be having when you're removing the administrator of the
when I
school
found
system.
out what it would cost.
Without the,
You said you
I
had the
said
votes.
That shouldn't happen.
and then you should have called us. We could have stopped it immediately.
You're right, Jim, I made a mistake.
We had to have his resignation in hand in order to start hiring
Yeah.
someone.
Well,
I'm available.
it's started.
I'm available.
We've kind of been straining for a long time, Jim.
It ain't gotten any better.
No. So what do you wanna do?
I want you to be honest with every board member here, because if we're gonna hire administrator for this school, every board member here has to be on the same page. You're not, Lynn.
I think I'm
That's
honest, I
fair
just
enough.
haven't communicated
No, you have not communicated with me one time since you've been on the board. Not one time have you called me or asked me. I've seen you at games or out the street. You never one time called me and asked me about anything about what goes on in this district.
And I didn't lie to you, I just didn't talk to you.
Okay.
Scott, what is your school email? Cause I've tried to send you stuff and it bounces back.
I don't recall right now. I can get it for you.
Could you?
Sure.
Cause yours and Lynn's and Jim's
I
are
would
different
prefer.
Call me on the phone.
I would
don't
prefer
do
phone
this.
calls.
So two okay,
I would
Like to
prefer
hear a
phone
voice.
calls.
Okay.
I have my phone with me all the time.
I like a voice.
And I wonder if when Jim was president, if he always called Lynn for every matter at school.
If Lynn and I spoke several different times and had a huge
641.
disagreement, he never spoke to me again.
444.
Remember that?
No, no,
When you were
Out of my
president,
house.
6699.
But
6699.
Well, anyway,
I'm sure you did call Lynn on every single matter.
the focus of this is to hire a superintendent. We need to have people all on the same page. We're trying to work this out. I think, we've taken a huge step.
I'm willing to try to communicate better. I don't, like I say, I don't think I lie, I just don't communicate probably.
Well, you
as
have
as I
to, that's
should.
just what we're doing.
Well, Lynn, my job was on the line here also. You came in and told me you had four votes. I asked you twice. I said, you have the votes for that? You said, yes, you have 4.
So then
Tell me
you-
who those are?
How do you know if you had the votes if you didn't talk to anybody?
But what difference does it make?
It makes a
You're gonna
huge
stay here
difference, Sharon.
until the end of the
It
year.
makes a huge difference, because if you can't trust somebody that's leading this school board in finding a new superintendent, how are we supposed to trust them in anything? If I didn't inform you on something that was going on the board, how would you feel?
I was a mushroom.
Yeah. Yeah, as something as important as buying out a superintendent, you're spending almost $90,000.
And I decided that
So
was
that's
a good
important,
plan.
I think we.
No, he asked him to buy out. You offered him a buyout, Jane, twice. And you talked to the person that you wanted him to step in.
If I followed through on that, that probably would have been appropriate to talk to you, but I did not follow through because I didn't think that was made.
You said you had the
financial-
votes. You said you
I
had the
do.
vote.
I had the vote, but it didn't make financial sense for me for the school district to do such a thing, so I dropped it.
Gee, I'd like to be involved in that.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been involved in that.
Decision making.
Like I say, Jim, we had been.
Don't
quite
matter.
some time.
No.
I know. We need to agree to disagree. That's what it's all about.
We don't have to agree on everything, but we better be communicating, and we better have trust, and this board does not have trust. You know, Jane, you were, as a private citizen, came to the school board meeting, I can't remember when it was, and you had a petition, and you gave a talk on all the things that you had, that you accused Mr. Nelson of doing. He had a petition, everything like that, and after everything that you said that he was doing wrong, you said, is this the kind of leader that we want for our district? Is this the kind of leader that we want for our district? Well, I'm saying, is this the kind of leader we want for our board? Somebody that we cannot trust.
Well, I trust him.
I'm sure you do.
Look, guys, I'm willing to step down. This is
I
a real
would love that.
Real high paying job.
I would love that if you resign right now.
That's what
Like
I
real
raised before.
science, Scott.
You
No,
wanted
I would
to.
not like that.
You wanted to, you offered.
You guys had a meeting yesterday.
What do you wanna
I
do?
mean, we got serious problems in this district. We've had faculty members accused of misappropriations of funds. How's that going over? You know anything about that, Lynn? You know anything about that, Jackie?
I do, but I haven't told anybody about it.
Well,
Until you just did.
Until I just-
What did you say?
that's a
Sharon?
serious accusation, isn't it, Sharon?
Yes, it is.
You just
Okay.
made it public, Scott. That's not a smart thing to do.
Why?
What did you say? Don, I'm sorry.
I
Cut
said,
out.
we have had faculty members accused of misappropriations of funds.
You have had faculty members accuse him or somebody accused them?
That this faculty member misused funds.
Well, who did that?
It was through an email.
Who accused them?
Would you like to say, Jackie?
Well, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you, but you forwarded it to Mr. Forwarded to Mr. Nelson, and he investigated it, didn't he?
You did?
And it was not proved to be true, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then where did the rumor come from? I'm asking, who told you that?
I don't want to say.
Okay, so there you go. How are we supposed to, if you accuse a faculty member of that, that's pretty serious.
But I didn't.
God,
I know you did.
she didn't accuse anybody of anything. If she heard something and she told Mr. Nelson, I think that's the proper way to
I
handle
thought
it.
that was what I was supposed to
We
do.
wanna get into it, we investigated thoroughly because it's gonna affect our whole office. They all took it very personally. Because that's a criminal offense to use a school credit card under personal use. We investigated, it did not happen, and so I asked, where did this come from? I wanna get it settled. And the people
Well, isn't
involved.
that what she was supposed to do?
I didn't hear.
She said, isn't that what she was supposed to do?
She's behind time. They've moved on.
Anyway, I'd like to see that resolved as soon as possible if we can.
Where would you like us to go? I understand what you're doing. I think
It broke the ice.
an open discussion is one thing.
No. I don't think so.
Well, I feel like we're shouting, hey, you don't respect anything we say, so you think we're new and we don't know anything. And we don't know some of the issues, but we hear a lot of complaints. And we're trying to help the school system by going to the channel and helping to resolve some of it.
If I could interject something, one of the things that helped me in my early career as a superintendent was this Iowa School Board Association. And if I could recommend someone, and I don't know if they're still with the association, there are some people down there that would come out and work with the board to try and get through things. But again, I think this is kind of the thing that we're worried about, Mac and Jake, McPherson and Jacobson and Dennis and Mike, is we're going to recruit. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do the best job for you that we possibly can. But when it comes down to recruiting, I have a couple people already that I know that are interested that I'm gonna talk to. But I'm not going to I'm not gonna stick my neck out, my reputation out, and say things are great as far as how the board functions. I can point to all the things that I know that are great about Belmont Funding. I can, but I'm not, if they say, what do you see as Mike, as a friend, what do you see as a superintendent coming in? I'm gonna tell them that you're gonna have to work with a board that doesn't seem to function very well. That doesn't mean the right person can't come in and lead you to a better working relationship with, and I don't think anybody across this table, from what I'm hearing, expects a vote of yes for everything. And I do think that it's a board member's job to notify the superintendent when things are going, that they're hearing. But I think you have to communicate that with your board. If we can get that agreed to, then we can move on. We can find the criteria that's gonna be a fit for you guys.
So if she would have communicated that with Nelson and then communicated that with all of us, there wouldn't have been an issue?
The board doesn't go to the superintendent and ask for a resignation without the full understanding of the
Well, I
board.
understand
Okay.
that part, but no, I'm talking about this other issue here that they were having too.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I would hope that if you have a problem, you went to Kirk with problems, yes. I hope that. And I hope you do it in a way that you know that you count on your superintendent to investigate and find out for you. And respond to that, yes.
The chain of command needs to be followed.
Without a doubt. And if we,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Personally, I don't think it's bad to have discussions where you open up and do stuff like this. But it has to be transparent and communicated.
Yeah.
Because none of you, I'm quoting the School Board Association, none of you have any power
Right,
individually.
right.
It's a group. So, I think we need to move on, Dennis.
And none of you are getting paid enough for abuse either, so if we can do our job.
I'm glad you discussed, I'm glad you.
Well, I think you should give us some names that we can call from the Iowa State Association.
Mrs. B used to do it all the time. She was fantastic, because she'd tell you.
We've had, the attorney came up with one.
Okay.
I don't know if we need an attorney, but.
But,
He just gave over.
but getting training and making commitment to do it
It's
it's crucial. I mean, and that's a commitment of everybody saying, almost like, I swear I'll never be a secret again. We'll do things professionally, we'll follow the chain of command, and if I don't do it, somebody jerk my chain. Nicely. Nicely. Because it's very crucial. You want us to go into the criteria now?
Well, the calendar's next.
Oh, excuse me, go ahead.
We better get the calendar
Yeah,
going.
let's go down step by step.
As you know, Dennis and I were selected to lead Clear Lake also, okay? Fortunately, and I think it's a great fortune for us, is their day is Wednesday. So honestly.
How come they
if-
have it on church night?
Well, I understand that too, but it's the only night without activities. If we could look at Thursdays and then look what we have to do for our office, really it comes down to having the people in Omaha have enough time to turn stuff back so they can put things together, i.e. when we set the criteria, you know, I'll be home working on that tonight and tomorrow morning so we can get that going. So it's the same thing when we have the stakeholder meetings. We're gonna have some time for Pam or the gals in the office to be able to put that in writing. You'll get a booklet of the comments after that comes so that you can continue, you know, you consider what they're gonna do and what they're not gonna do. So that's great, thank you. She asked your activity calendar. And I don't know if you have calendars with you guys tonight, but we'll throw out some dates that are kind of corresponding and we'll just see how they go. Tonight, obviously, we're gonna have 3 board meetings with you, all right? They're gonna be 3 specific meetings. Jane, we'll need you on either here or on the phone because it's gonna take the commitment for all to be able to get this done right, okay?
No problem.
Okay, very good. We are obviously meeting right now. The next time after we get the criteria and it opens up, we'd suggest would be, the next time we'd meet with you is the 18th of February. Have a good day.
That's state wrestling for high school.
Is it? Is that when it starts? Okay, then.
Well, they go down the 17th and Belmont County
Yes, oh,
starts
yes.
wrestling 8:30 on the 18th.
How about the 16th?
I can't do the 16th.
You can't do the 16th. 15th.
Good for me.
Okay, with everybody?
What time is it?
Well, it's up to you. What's a good time for you?
Mondays are good.
Mondays are good for me too.
Tuesdays are good. Start with Tuesday and
Okay.
How long are we talking for like our meetings?
Well,
Couple hours, 3
At the
hours?
at the max.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
This is a long
Yes.
and picking the candidates, that
Yeah,
takes a
yeah,
long
that's acceptable.
Monday, the 15th?
February 15th.
And time,
Do you guys like 7 or do you want?
7.
7.
7 o'clock?
7
Does that
o'clock?
work for everybody?
What is the date now for sure?
The 15th at 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Of February.
February, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Here.
Is this you guys always meet here? This works for me.
7 o'clock?
The stakeholders, we'll talk about at the end of the meeting, but we have to give the office enough time to coordinate that. We'll probably have to do that. And then, after that meeting, we'll need a couple weeks to vet the candidates to that.
When are you gonna close the first meeting?
We're on the
No.
first meeting, so far.
Closing on the 3rd there. The next time after that would be bringing you the candidates that we're going to advance for your consideration. We work on interview questions, finalize the 3rd meeting is really, we're down getting ready where we're going to set up interviews and we're gonna get you guys down to the 4 or 5 that you wanna talk to. Do you guys have spring break?
Yes.
So, you do. Is it the 14th through the 18th?
Oh, that's next.
That's next year.
21st.
Oh, so you're the week, oh,
March.
that's
Easter week.
that actually,
Don't get so excited. Something so simple.
that actually may be, work really well. If we could use the week of the 14th for the actual of March for the interviews. And then what we do is we come out here on around the 29th. Yeah, that's an interview day. No, it's not. Yeah. The 1st or the 2nd of March to come out for the 3rd meeting, which is a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Tuesday's better.
You're gonna be gone? So Lisa will be gone. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what day?
The 1st of March,
Tuesday?
it's a Tuesday.
7 o'clock again?
Yes. I mean, you can set the time, but if that's what you guys like.
Should be right with me. 7 o'clock, every time from within 6.
In February. When do we close? We're closing the 10th. Remember we moved it back?
I don't know.
The 10th. So close
Well,
the 11th.
meetings.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll probably close the application period on the 12th.
12th of February.
Yes. Yeah.
Which just, that means everybody has to have their stuff to us if they want to be considered.
Oh, okay, so they
Has
have their
nothing
stuff
really
to
to do
you,
with
and
you.
then
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
15th is when we, okay,
Right.
gotcha.
We will need to set a date for the stakeholders, as long as we have the calendars in front of us. go ahead and do that. We can talk about groups later, but,
That's fine with me.
how about the 4th of February as the stakeholder, day? It's not gonna involve you. It's not gonna involve you. You're certainly welcome to sit in on it. One of them, the evening, will have the community parent group. And we'll put in the press release that, everybody will be invited to that. I have a copy of the press release that we'll talk about also. But when we identify your stakeholders, we can talk more about that. But tentatively, let's put that down as Thursday, the 4th of March, okay?
The 4th of March?
I'm sorry, February, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what we're looking at for you, for your information, stakeholders on the 4th, closing applications the 11th or 12th, we'll talk to the office on that. Next board meeting with you guys is on the 15th at 7 p.m. That's our second meeting. Then the third meeting, our final meeting with you would be on the 1st of March, and potentially interviews the 14th, the week of the 14th. Now, depending on how many people you interview and how you want to do it, you may have to, and for you guys, it'll be evening meetings. So think about your calendar, but that week of the 14th, Jim, we may be looking at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings. So toward the end of that week, we would be looking at I know Thursday you said that one Thursday wasn't good. But fortunately, I think both wrestling and basketball are done by then.
There's a speech contest, I wanna make sure everybody knows that.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Huh?
Starting this Saturday.
I have one
This
question.
is the one.
Go ahead, Jane.
I know you've done this forever and you're such a specialty, but it just seems like it's only like 3 weeks with this application. Is that's the normal process, or are we late?
No, it's probably pretty normal for us.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, you come and do this, I'll track it.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I would let you know that, at this time of the year, people that are thinking about superintendencies are getting their stuff ready right now. And they'll, and now that it's online with Apple Track and the whole system, it's much easier than it used to be when you had to get copies and everything else going. Does that,
Thank you.
you bet. Does that sound like a decent timeline? We'll bounce it off Pam in the office tomorrow, but I think she'll be happy with what we're looking at.
Okay, February 4th, we are doing what on the 4th?
That will be the stakeholder groups will come in and meet with Dennis and myself to
Has
gather.
nothing to do with you.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We're just gonna
Okay.
we're gonna get you some input from your
Okay,
community,
okay.
from your teachers, from your administrative team.
And are we
whoever.
picking those tonight so that way you have that to work on?
We're going to talk about which groups, which groups, and then, we'll talk about that shortly. That was pretty easy. That's pretty easy. The tough part is coming now, and Dennis is in charge of that, so. Any questions about calendar before we move on? Okay, you ready? We're gonna do this later. Well, we were going to, but that's the last one.
Okay. Okay, when we develop our application process, we have 3 to 5 things that you're really looking for. And so that's what we have to do now, synthesize that. So I'd like to have you just take a sheet of paper and put down the 5 skills you want this person to have. Skills, abilities, talents, and then we'll get it down.
No, on a piece of paper. These are-
Okay, good. And I'll just go around the room and we'll go back until everybody's got them up here. And I'll start with you then, Jane, but not yet.
Okay, all right, let me know.
5?
5. And if you have 6, that's not gonna bother us. I mean, here's what you want the person to shine at,
Oops.
to be good at. Knowing everybody can't do everything well.
Don't bet on those yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot.
I think Lisa gave you what we did last time too, didn't she?
Oh, there you go.
I don't want that to taint your thinking, but sometimes